Hello there, and a very, very warm welcome to my YouTube. My name's Chris, and in this film, I'm taking a look at the pilots of Fighter Command, and in particular, Jamie Rankin, Tony Bartley, Paddy Barthrop, Brian Kingham, Hugh Dundas, and Harold Bird Wilson. All these pilots joined the RAF shortly before the outbreak of the Second World War. And we're also taking a look at what happened to them 20 years later. They all survived, and they were all still around in the early part of 1960. And this is where the film will eventually arrive at. To all my new subscribers, a really massive thank you. If you haven't already subscribed, it would be very much appreciated if you could tick the box, put the thumbs up, and subscribe. Much appreciated. Thank you.
What General Weygand has called the Battle of France is over. The Battle of Britain is about to begin. Upon this battle depends the survival of Christian civilization. Upon it depends our own British life and the long continuity of our institutions and our empire. The whole fury and might of the enemy must very soon be turned on us. Hitler knows that he will have to break us in this island or lose the war. If we can stand up to him, all Europe may be freed, and the life of the world may move forward into broad, sunlit uplands. But if we fail, then the whole world, including the United States, including all that we have known and cared for, will sink into the abyss of a new dark age, made more sinister and perhaps more protracted by the lights of perverted science. Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duty. So bear ourselves that if the British Empire and its commonwealths last for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was their finest hour. The gratitude of every home in our island, in our empire, and indeed throughout the world, except in the abodes of the guilty, goes out to the British airmen who, undaunted by odds, unwearied in their constant challenge and mortal danger, are turning the tide of the world war by their prowess and by their devotion. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few.
The first pilot we're just taking a look at is James Rankin. He was born in 1913, and by 1935 he was joining up at the RAF at 22 years of age. By 1941 he was a squadron leader. By February 1941 he was commanding 92 Squadron, who were based at RAF Biggin Hill. He was awarded a DFC in June 1941 for shooting down. By that time, he'd shot down 9 enemy aircraft. He returned as a wing leader in September at Biggin Hill, where he was awarded a DSO. In total, throughout his wartime flying, he shot down 17 aircraft. By 1954, he was commanding officer at RAF Duxford, and then he retired from the RAF in 1958, and he retired as an Air Commodore. And James Rankin then passed away in March 1975, age 62. The next pilot we're taking a look at is Anthony Bartley. He was born in 1919. He learned to fly at Westmaling at 19 years of age, and by 1939, he then joined the RAF. He was posted to 92 Squadron, which were then flying Blenheims, but then he was back to 92, where they converted to Spitfires, which was in March 1940. In 1940, he was awarded the DFC. By October 1940, he'd already shot down 8 enemy aircraft. By 1942, he was in command of 111 Squadron at Kenley. Later in the war, Tony Bartley volunteered for service in the Far East. On the 28th of November 1945, he married actress Deborah Kerr. He was released from the RAF in 1946 and moved to Hollywood. Later joined CBS Films, and in 1971 he moved back to Ireland. He passed away in 2001 at the age of 81. Another interesting character we're taking a look at is Paddy Barthrop. He was born in Dublin in 1920, and he learned to fly at White Waltham at 18 years of age in 1938. At first he was posted to number 613 Squadron at RAF Odium, and they were flying the Hawker Hectors. He volunteered to join Fighter Command in 1940, joined 602 Squadron flying Spitfires. Then he joined 122 Squadron at Hornchurch. He was shot down in May 1942 over Saint-Omer in France, and eventually, having served time in Stalag Luft 3, he escaped in 1945, and with him and another colleague, they commandeered a fire engine, believe it or not, in Hamburg and drove it to Brussels. By 1952, he was a wing commander flying Meteors. He was discharged from the RAF under the Bowler scheme in December 1957 with the rank of Squadron Leader. Barthorp, on leaving the RAF, went into business with a Rolls-Royce and Bentley car hire business. His business partner at the time became a fellow RAF pilot, Brian Kingham, and they were in business together, driving wealthy clients all over the country. He led a very full and active life and passed away in April 2008 at the age of 87. Brian Kingham is the next pilot we're taking a look at. He was born in 1917 and he joined the RAF at 19 years of age in 1936. Once trained, he joined 65 Squadron from 1938 to 1940. By May 1940, he was with 92 Squadron at Northolt, and he was shot down. He bailed out, and it was shortly after was awarded the DFC in October 1940. He commanded 72 Squadron at RAF Gravesend, and in 1942 he was awarded the DSO. He transferred to Malta with 244 Wing in 1943, and by 1945 he was a senior air staff officer with 205 Bomb Group Squadron, which were equipped with Liberators, and Brian Kingham sometimes flew as a waist gunner on various missions. By 1946 he was posted to 324 Squadron at Zeldwig, Austria. He was invalided out of the RAF by 1954, and the reason given was that the war service had taken its toll on him and he developed tuberculosis. He left the RAF as a wing commander / group captain, and as you might be aware, he went into business with Paddy Barthrop. His wife set up Kingham Sofas, and such was Kingham's charm, sometimes his bank manager used to drive his delivery van for him in the company. And he passed away in February 19 94 at the age of 77. Our next interesting character that we're taking a look at is Hugh Dundas. He was born in Doncaster in 1920. He joined up with the RAF at 19 years of age. As a pilot officer, he joined 616 Squadron in May 1939, and he was given the nickname Cocky. And the reason for that was that he was 6'4" with bright red hair, so his fellow airmen thought he looked like a cockerel. He flew with 616 Squadron over Dunkirk in May 1940, flying a Spitfire Mark I. By 1941, he was back at Tangmere, and at the end of 1941, he was posted to 56 Squadron as an acting squadron leader, flying Typhoons. By 1942, he was an acting wing commander in Malta. June 1943, he transferred from Malta to Sicily. And by 1944, he was acting group captain and was awarded the DSO in 1945. He returned to the UK in 1946 and retired from the RAF, was then awarded a CBE, and by 1977 he was knighted. He passed away in 1995 at 75 years of age. Now, Harold Bird Wilson was born in 1919, and at 18 years of age he applied for a short service commission in 1937 with the RAF. He was at elementary flying at RAF Desford, then South Cerney, and then one day flying back to Brough. Following their training, they ran into very bad weather, a bad weather storm which they had to divert to RAF Cranwell, and the pilot in command at that time crashed. Unfortunately, he passed away, but Harold Birdie suffered severe facial injuries, and he became one of the first guinea pigs of Archie Mackendo, the infamous plastic surgeon. He eventually returned to active duty and converted to Hurricanes in February 1940. He was with 17 Squadron and they flew to France. Shortly after, they were withdrawn back to England. Birdie Wilson was awarded the DFC in 1940. He was then shortly after shot down by Adolf Galland in September 1940. He was flying with 234 Squadron in 1941 as a flight commander. Then by 1942 he was with 152 Squadron. By May 1943 he was wing leader with 122 wing, and then he was rested in 1944 as a wing commander. Then he transferred and became wing commander at RAF Harrowby, flying Spitfires in 1944. By 1945 he was awarded the DSO. May 1945 he went to 1335 Jet Conversion Unit at Cologne. He then became station commanding officer at RAF Coltishall with the rank of group captain, and he was stationed there in command between 1959 and 1961. He was awarded a CBE in 1962, and he retired from the RAF in 1974 as Air Vice Marshal.
Hugh Green, sir.
How are you, Bertie? Nice to see you again. I think it's fair to tell our friends that during your life in the Air Force, you've always been connected with fighters.
Yes, I joined my first squadron in 1939.
Gosh, all the way from pistons up to jets, eh?
Yeah, that's right.
Now, can you tell us exactly what your duties are as the station commander here at Coltishall?
My main duties here is ensuring the operational efficiency of my squadrons and running the general administration. The squadrons here are number 23 Squadron, which have javelins, the latest javelins. I have 74 Squadron, which have hunters, and the Air Fighting Development Squadron, which has javelins and hunters.
On the way to your office, I noticed a formidable group of Air Force names on the honors board.
Yes, we can take quite a lot of the names like Douglas Bader, Stanford Tuck, Max Aiken, Curly Milling. They've all been stationed here in their time.
Coldershall is just as much an operational fighter station today as it always has been.
Most certainly it is, and we're ready to go at any time.
Mind you, the average age is perhaps a bit older than we were. It's probably around about 25 or 26.
Well, good heavens, I mean, Bob Stanford Tuck was about that age in the squadron commander, weren't you, Bob?
Oh, indeed, yes. I was 24 and when I had my first squadron, I think.
It's a long time ago, of course, Crow, and you'll remember that when we both fought in Douglas Bader's wing, we were 20s or 21 or 2. Douglas was then a very elderly gentleman of over 30. In fact, I think he was 32 when he was shot down, which makes him at least 100 now, doesn't it? I must say, you know, Bob, as extraordinary thing, old Johnny Johnson, he was always prone to exaggeration. For the record, I must make it absolutely clear, Johnny, that I was 31 when I went down in 1941. It was a nosedive.
Spitfires, incidentally, that you can see tomorrow at the Coldershall at home. Well, Group Captain, you seem to be enjoying yourself up there, were you?
Yes, I most certainly was.
What did it feel like to be back in the Spitfire again?
It's very nice. I haven't been able to fly one for many a year now, so it's rather nice to get back.
Did you just fly Spitfires during the war?
No, I started off on Hurricanes in 1940, and then went on Spitfires and ended up on Mustangs.
Which did you prefer?
Well, the Spitfire was a nicer aircraft to fight in, but the Hurricane did a very fine job against the German bombers.
Were you stationed at Coldershall during the war?
No, I wasn't. I came up here with a wing now and again to do operations over Holland, but that's the only time.
Who were your colleagues in those flying days?
Well, all the many wing commander flyings like Douglas Bader, Johnny Johnson, and all the well-named people I seem to have known during my time, but there are many other chaps as well who are not always named.
No, quite. How long have you been commanding officer here?
I've been here 2.5 years now, and I leave in November.
You'll be sorry to go, will you?
Most certainly will. It's one of the nicer commands one can have.
Yes. Well, I won't keep you because we've got a very busy day tomorrow. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
I really, truly hope you found this interesting. My apologies if it went on a little bit longer than my usual films, but I think it warranted the attention, and it certainly portrayed the bravery of the pilots of Fighter Command. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers for now.